That's interesting you bring that up because you say you can't get injured in the prospect game, but I'm curious, Rhys, right off the top of your head, what would be the worst possible injury you could get while podcasting?
Oh, I could fall while I'm recording, and then my life alert's not nearby, so
That's
I
true.
can't reach it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, can't follow that life alert. I don't
I've
know. What is
fallen
the
and I
worst?
can't get up.
And then your co-host can't help you.
No, I can't. I can't get to you, Reese. You're too far.
I
Nate,
think
what's the
if I
worst
fell, Nate would
injury?
just. I think if I
This
fell during
microphone
this
is
podcast and
sturdy.
broke my leg, Nate would just start laughing.
Nate, what were you saying?
Just say this microphone's heavy, man. You never know.
You don't know what's going to happen. How bad is it? And what does it say about me that my immediate thought was the roof collapses and I die?
It'd be great
Can I tell you
content,
guys
though.
something?
What
I'm like irrationally afraid of like ceiling fans falling on me. Like that's like my big fear. Like I'm not
are you
afraid
being
of anything.
serious?
I'm being serious, but I also need the ceiling fan to sleep.
I feel so bad for you. I don't mean to alarm you, Reese, but look over your shoulder.
I know.
I don't wanna try that hard. I ain't gonna show that card. People start to wonder if you live here now. And the boys in the corner are trying.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the On Deck podcast presented to you by Prospects Live. We're your friends, your hosts, your boys, starting with me, Drew Wheeler, member of the Prospects Live Dynasty team. I record podcasts, I write some stuff here and there, and I try to have a pretty good time, and I hope you're excited to have a good time with us. With me today, the first of my co-hosts, your friend and mine, my favorite college coach in college baseball, Nathan Rasmussen. You can call him Nate, just like I will. Nate, what's up, bogey boy?
What's up, Drew? I'm surprised you can read this. Cursive isn't taught like it used to be. Or when I think I might be the last age group to be taught cursive.
I love that in me complimenting your hat, I feel old because you told me I could read cursive. That's really cool. Tell me how you're doing, Nate.
I'm doing great. I'm having
I'm
fun.
glad.
We've been on here cracking jokes for a little bit now, so we're warmed up.
We had a really nice time. As you're listening to this, it is Tuesday, June 3rd. Last night, Sunday, June 1st, though, we had a really good time, Nate. We recorded and talked about some regional nonsense, had some laughs, had some jokes, had some fun. And I'm glad that I could do that with you. So we're recording 2 days in a row. Aren't we lucky?
It was a great time. That last hour was straight jokes, nothing else. But the first 2 hours were pretty good.
All filler,
good
no
analysis.
killer.
Yeah.
All filler, no killer. And with us, Nate, your friend and mine, he is the face of baseball media. He is the free range human. He is the Prospects Live Pro Scouting Director, Rhys B. White. Rhys, hi.
Hi, how you guys doing? Yeah, I feel like I don't know which cold open we're gonna go with, but whichever one of them makes me seem like I'm a coward, which I am when it comes to
No.
ceiling fans.
It doesn't make you seem like a coward, Rhys. It makes you seem like a person, a very complex human. I think I like you more knowing that.
Yeah. I don't even know where to go from that, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk with you guys again. Last night was so much fun. I'm gonna just put it out there. We're doing it again. I haven't asked my bosses, but I think we're doing it again next Sunday. Maybe,
That'd be
probably.
fun. Who's to say? I guess we are. Maybe we are. Stay tuned to social media. We'll see what happens. We are going to talk today, guys. You all at home, we are not just going to sit around and laugh and joke. We've got some good content for you because, as you know, college baseball has reached the apex of the season. We are, as we speak, as we're recording this, we are concluding the two final games in the regional round of play. We are rocketed towards super regionals, guys, and it's going to be a great slate of games. Nate, I'm going to kick it to you, man, because we're going to review some of the takes that we had from the regional round before we preview the super regional round. And between the three of us, I know that we have opinions, we have favorites, we have games that we think are going to be loaded, maybe some that are going to be a little bit of a cakewalk. I'm excited to talk super regionals, but before we do that, Let's jump in with some regional takes. But Nate, before that, Rhys, let me ask you a question. What can $5 buy you in a month?
It can't buy you. It can get you like a small overpriced coffee. I don't even think it can get you a combo meal anymore. What can $5 a month get you these days?
You know, I can actually think of something really good. As low as $5 a month, you can get a membership to prospectslive.com where you can get all kinds of wonderful baseball content that fits anything you're looking for in your baseball habit. Whether you want live looks at the prospects coming up for your team, whether you're looking for a little bit of a boost in your dynasty leagues, whether you want to know whose cards you need to invest in, or if you want a little bit of goofiness and fun and silliness and a feel that you're just hanging with the boys talking baseball, we got you at prospectslive.com. Memberships start as low as $5 a month, so please check us out, prospectslive.com for that. Nate, enough of the pitch. Let's catch up with regional takes.
So I was listening back when I was editing the podcast, and I was like, wow, we made a lot of takes when we previewed the regional round. We're take guys. We have things to say, and we are not ashamed to be wrong. However, we were pretty right on a lot of our takes, so I just want, surprisingly right. So I think we need a moment here to have something out on the internet forever that shares that we were decently right.
Should we clap?
I feel like, yeah, maybe just a real soft.
Good job, guys.
So I went back today and I listened to that portion of the podcast again. And we're going good, bad, but it's mostly good. And I just want to go over our takes now that we are done, for the most part, with the regional round of baseball. So I'm just going to go random here in order of when we said them. And you guys will tell me how you think this take aged. Rhys started. Right State is consistently good and fun to watch.
Thumb up.
I think that aged great.
Boston Smith really made that true.
Nate, myself, said, Vanderbilt scares me a lot. They don't play regional-friendly baseball. Weakest number 1 overall we've had in a long time. Aged
Thumb up.
Good.
That aged
I also
great.
said I love Texas, though, so we're good for a bad one every once in a while. I said
Horns
Texas
down.
should be number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Horns down. Yeah, let's horns down for that for sure.
Drew said you can never count out Louisville.
I feel like that's a pretty well-developed take at this point.
I feel like that is somewhat true.
Thanks, Rhys.
I also
I
said
try.
North
Thank
Carolina over Vandy. Apparently, I'm just a Vandy hater. I think that aged great. North Carolina advanced. Sorry, I guess there's a lot of me in here. Take guy. I said the Eugene Regional, anyone can win. I think we all had that sentiment, though, throughout, that the Eugene Regional was the most wide open. And Rhys, do you think that that was right?
I think that was the most wide open regional we've seen. I mean, honestly, it wasn't wide open for Oregon. It was not wide open for them.
Yeah. What was it I said the other day in the group chat? I had a terrible CSI Miami joke. I can't remember it. It was something about ducking out.
It was you.
Let me
Drew
check.
did say a bad joke.
It was. Thank you. It was. I guess Oregon decided to. To duck out early. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Rhys said Eugene Regional, any team can win. Nice. You also said Arizona, if healthy, is very dangerous.
I'll
I
thumb
would
that
say
one
that they're
up.
pretty
Yeah.
dangerous. Rhys
like
also
that.
said Arizona and Cal Poly are both better than University of Oregon.
Dude, that's a
Thumb
good
up.
call.
That
Rhys,
aged
look
great,
at you.
Rhys.
Look at
I
you.
know. We're patting our own backs really quickly before we make some more bad takes later in the show. Drew said Arizona should be the 1 seed over University of Oregon.
I'll accept
too
that.
bad.
I guess. I'll accept that. I guess.
Drew, you felt really good about Tennessee and their regional.
I'm curious what you guys are going to grade that because I can't be told nothing today. I'm so happy, but I mean, walking in a run to lose a game at home is inexcusable.
I don't think I feel any better about Tennessee than I did before the regional. I don't know if I feel a whole lot worse, maybe slightly, but I think that they are about what I thought they were after watching the regional. I don't know what you think, Rhys.
I agree with you. I think they are kind of what I thought they were.
So where do we fall on the thumbometer there? Because I'm tracking this for a tweet later. Ugh,
Like a
sideways. Okay.
We all thought Cincinnati was the upset team, and you know,
I think the logic behind that take was valid, and we were proven correct because Cincinnati ran all over every team they played.
Good process, bad results.
Exactly, Rhys. Thank you.
Rhys had a take that Carrington Cross might need to play defense for the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll have to wait on that one.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. I'll give that a medium for now.
But I feel pretty good about that one. I don't mind it. Rhys, Wake is sneaky. Wake was, in fact, sneaky. No one liked him this year. They made some waves.
Thumb up. That's a team I left that regional hyper impressed with. Their freshman class is going to be Goliaths. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, that game just ended, and it was, up for grabs for a while there. I said LSU is the dumbest region ever. LSU has been handed a berth. And I quote, Little Rock is rounding out a regional, ?
You started so well by saying it was the dumbest regional ever because it looks like it might be.
We have, for those who did not tune in yesterday, we have a lot riding on this LSU Little Rock thing. Will might have to change his profile picture, and I don't think Will's taking it well.
What's our score right now?
7-5.
Yeah, top 8.
And Will is referring to LSU as we.
Will has become an LSU Tigers fan quicker than I've seen any person indoctrinated into a fan base in my lifetime. So,
I'd agree with that. I also said that I hated DBU in Rhode Island.
I'll thumb up that.
I was anti DBU. I'm okay with that one. I also said LSU is just going to win. Yeah, my bad. Rhys and Nate both. West Virginia out of the Clemson Regional.
Hey,
good boy, Rhys.
Thumbs up, guys. That was a good call.
I told you that team that is not a team I'd want to play. Little Rock does not want to face them in the next round.
Little Rock versus West Virginia. Just like we drew it up.
To end on a sadder note, we all liked UC Irvine and did not like UCLA.
That's too bad.
UCLA
to be fair, we didn't
look dang good.
To be fair, we didn't know that UCLA had this in them. They've never played like this all season.
I would say 80% good takes there, guys. I am proud of us. I think that we are becoming a all right take podcast, which is all I've ever wanted. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. Any other ones that you guys remember? I think I got to most of them there.
No, I was victory lapping West Virginia, I think, on Friday. I think I was like, I told you guys.
I forgot. I actually do have one more segment. We picked underdogs, all right? And we're going to have to look at how our underdogs did. Rhys, you picked Kansas State. But you also picked West Virginia underdog. Sure, we'll give it to you. And then Fresno State was your 4-seed underdog. I like the process. I'm not going to lie.
I did too.
It didn't end great for you, but you got 1 out of 3, which plays. I picked UConn, who was not in the tournament. But I still like them. I still like them a lot.
Technically undefined.
I would call it a win.
I'm gonna give that one bad process, good results.
I'm a fan of that one. I also picked North Dakota State, our boys from up north. They won a game.
The Farm Boys did it, Nate. You called it.
I think that winning a game was all I ever wanted out of North Dakota State. So that was fun. And then I also picked Cal Poly, who did make it to the final and got blown out. But I think that I had baby wins in both of my 2 real picks, and I will take baby wins. Drew, DBU. Ooh. Arizona.
That's 5 big booms.
ETSU did not do what any of us wanted them to do.
No, they did not.
And lastly, Georgia Tech for Drew. I would say we did worse on our underdogs than our actual picks for our segment.
I agree.
I actually I went 0 for 2 because you can't count West Virginia as an underdog.
If that's the case, then I'm not counting Arizona, so I went 0 for 3. DBU, ETSU, and Georgia Tech, awful, like pitiful. Not good.
Yeah, so we are good at some things, not good at everything. But I feel like that was a good little recap of our episode last week, that maybe we know a little bit of ball. And we had some fun takes. And I think this is going to prompt us to throw out even more crazy takes in our next segment, moving on to our Super Regional Preview. Okay, so we have 2 games that are still being played right now as we speak, with Southern Miss and in Miami and LSU Little Rock, I believe. Am I correct there? Do we have a score update so the viewers at home know where we're at?
Yeah, so as of right now, LSU's up 7-5 in the top 8 against Little Rock. Meanwhile, Miami is up 5-2 on Southern Miss in the bottom 8. So we should conclude this while we are recording. We should have the full slate at the end of recording.
Great, so we're going to go to our first 6 supers to start this off, and I think everyone needs to pick a winner from the supers, and we'll be brief in our analysis, but I think we just need to keep throwing takes out wild. You guys okay with that?
I'm with it.
Let's try our best.
All right, let's start out. Florida State at Oregon State. Oregon State looked bad day 1 in their regional and came back. Really strong performances all around on days 2, 3, and 4. And Florida State looked great all along. I think that this could be a pick'em region. Drew, what are your thoughts here?
What a tough super this is. Here's the thing. At this point in the season, I love pitching, and I think that Florida State certainly has the edge in pitching, but I like their bats substantially more than Oregon State's. And I'm gonna pick Florida State heartily. I think I may go 2-0 Florida State over Oregon State.
Rhys, what do you think?
I'm also going to go 2-0 Florida State. I don't think that these West Coast teams that like to bunt do very well against Southeastern and competition. I just don't think the style of play travels that well.
And just on that same note, let's give credit to the boppers for the Seminoles. Alex Lodius, Ethan Frey, Miles Bailey. These guys are all currently running ISO metrics of like over 320. They are popping the ball. And I just, like you said, if Rhys were comparing West Coast bunt style small ball to Daddy Hack Southeastern ball, I don't know. It's going to be tough. What do you think, Nate?
I'm gonna go the path less traveled. I'm gonna say Oregon State. This is the one team in the Pacific Northwest that I have liked to watch play baseball this whole year. I've seen them a couple times. While I think that there is a talent disparity between the two teams, Oregon State looked really good the last couple days, and the relief pitching has looked a lot better. I think that they can hit just enough. I think it's a closer pitching matchup than we think, and I even like Oregon State in some ways. I think Florida State, I'd give the edge with the bats, but they're playing in Corvallis, and I think that means something for sure. Florida State, it's a long flight over here to the Pacific Coast, and I'm going to go Oregon State there, just to zig while you guys zag, I suppose. But moving on to our next regional, Arizona at North Carolina. Rhys, who do you got?
I want to go with Arizona so bad, but I just don't think I can. UNC's bats are just that much better. I think they're better than the Arizona pitching, and I think at the end of the day, I think I have to go with North Carolina.
I agree with Rhys. Conference tournament play really sold me on North Carolina being such a threat at any given point. Arizona's a great team. I like what they're doing. They're coming together. We've seen Mason White play really, really well. Rhys, one of your cousins, I believe you said previously, so shout out to the White family tree.
Yeah.
That feels like a risky thing to say on the internet, but whatever. I'm gonna go with UNC in 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna take UNC as well. I haven't stopped believing in them ever since 2 weeks ago when I saw them run through a conference tournament and became really impressed with them. And Arizona did not play a team to the level of North Carolina in their regional, not even close. So I guess we're going pretty chalk there, fellas. But moving on, Coastal Carolina at Auburn. Drew, what do you think?
Oh, boy. I want to like Coastal Carolina's shot here. I really do. I love the underdog. I mean, we say it all the time, guys. It's fun. Coastal Carolina's a quality team. Watch them win the Sun Belt title. Great team. Auburn just... Is it a shame if I make the joke? It just means more. It is. That's a really lame joke. I like Auburn. I think Auburn matches well, better in pitching than people will give them credit for. But I think Auburn's bats exceed Coastal's by probably 2 or 3 grades. Unfortunately,
Rhys, what do you think?
in Death Valley too. That gotta give it. I mean, we're in Auburn. That's a tough row to hoe.
That is not a place I'd want to play. I just can't. I can't pick Coastal Carolina. Like, I want to be a little contrarian. I don't want to keep picking the same teams as Drew. So I got to go with I'm going to go with Auburn.
I love you, Rhys. I appreciate what you're doing here.
I'm doing it again. I'm sorry. I am all in on
Hipster
Coastal
Nate.
Carolina. I know, a young guy trying to do his own thing, make his own way. But I think the Coastal Carolina pitching is so freaking good. And we just talked to Ryan Lynch, and he didn't even get used in the regional, Rhys. Can you believe that? A guy with a sub-1 ERA wasn't even needed because they had other options to finish games, and they didn't even need to call on their guy out of the bullpen. In a couple close games, they were saving them for when they really needed it, and they never did. And I don't think the regional was the toughest out there, but it surely wasn't a Eugene kind of draw. And they're starting pitching, they're 3 deep with really quality starters. And that is something that Auburn's deep too. And granted, they played SEC competition, so obviously the numbers don't look as good. But man, Coastal's had a tough schedule too. Their strength schedule's up there, so I'm all in on Coastal Carolina, even more so than my Oregon State kind of upset pick. But moving right along, UTSA at UCLA. I would love, Drew, if you could talk a little bit about this UTSA team and what they did in the regional round and how impressive that was. Before maybe you make your pick.
Yeah, absolutely. So UTSA, essentially, nobody outside of UTSA fans and possibly Will Thompson saw this coming. So you got to give credit to UTSA because, if I'm not mistaken, this is their first super regional appearance in history. Pat Hallmark, their coach, he was saying. Recently, one of my favorite quotes that I've seen is talking about transfer guys, right? So people were saying, well, hey, UTSA, your guys are kind of making the scene, and what if they transfer out? He was like, it's fine, because we've got guys that are hungry and want to play just like this crew did coming and waiting after them. And I was just like, oh my gosh, such mad respect to be the rogue in this, Wild West landscape. And Pat Hallmark and UTSA are doing incredible things. I mean, we saw them last night. I don't want to use the word dominate, and then I realized I was talking about Texas and Jim Schlossnagle. They dominated Texas. This is what like storybooks are written about. However, every storybook ends, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure that we're going to see it end here, but I think that the smart money says UCLA ends the storybook. I'll take UCLA in 3.
Rhys, hometown-ish team? Not really hometown. It's the closest regional to you. What are your thoughts on this UCLA team?
I'm going with UTSA. LA is where stories are made, and I think that UTSA is going to pull off the upset and beat this really mid UCLA team. I don't believe anything. It's like a used car salesman. I don't believe anything they're selling to me. This UCLA team.
So even the fact that they've got I'm not going to call Rock Chalowski a shoe-in for the Golden Spikes, but he is a top 5 player in college baseball this season. You don't even think he alone can put you over a team who a month ago we'd have laughed you out of the room for saying would win this super regional. I have to zag where everyone else is zagging at least once, right? And I feel like UTSA is kind of on one of those runs. The way they manhandled Texas to the point where Texas was going to their bench, like in the 9th inning. They were like, we have to find something. They were pinch hitting. I think UTSA can kind of just smother the rest of this UCLA lineup. The pitching's not bad. I went back and I watched some of it. It's not bad pitching. Like they have enough arms in the stable to get it done against what I think is kind of an overrated UCLA team. I respect the take. And I'm also happy to admit that I'm wrong if that's the case, Rhys. I would love to see UTSA make it to Omaha. No, Rock's awesome. He is awesome.
I think we should all be rooting for UTSA because of this story.
Certainly.
With that being said, I was so out on UCLA coming in, right? We were all in on UC Irvine. We already talked about that. I was out on UCLA, and then I covered them this week on the Daily Sheet, and I covered their regional. And, man, watching those games, it was not even close offensively against teams that I thought were decent competition. They were dismantling. And the lineup is so much deeper than I thought it was, and maybe it's postseason baseball and they're rising to the occasion or whatnot, but I can't in good conscience pick against UCLA after what I saw them do this weekend, because they are now the hottest team, in my opinion, just based on what they did this weekend. One of the hottest teams.
Nate, can I ask a question? Just to see if I'm in the same, if we're in the same boat here. I feel horrible about picking UCLA. I want UTSA to win. If at this point, Tennessee, SEC teams, UTSA, just because that's fun. It'd be fun to cheer for them.
Yeah, Murray State has my heart in Little Rock, but right after that it's UTSA, man. Right after that, and I pick UTSA for a lot of my college football EA Sports rebuilds. So I'm a rider, but.
I hope UTSA fans, all 6 of them, remember that I picked you when you win.
Rhys is going to be indoctrinated into Roadrunner Central.
If we have a UTSA fan who watches this podcast, please let us know, because you and Rhys are in lockstep.
Best friends. You got a runner on base.
Next,
got a runner on base in Southern Miss.
Really?
Bottom of the 9th, 1 out, 0-1 count, runner on first.
Things are getting weird out here. I'm still looking at that Little Rock score, but much like Little Rock, surprise of the tournament might be Murray State, who finished off Ole Miss today. And they're scheduled now to play Super Regional at Duke, one of the best stories of college baseball this year. Drew, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
First of all, I want to. It's not necessarily a take because I didn't make it here on the podcast, but you guys know that one of the projects I was really into last week was presenting the Regional Rumble series on Twitter, where I kind of went through and picked players that I thought kind of matched up well and had a different kind of superlative that I wanted people to chime in on and just have discussion, because I love doing this. I just love discussing postseason college baseball. That said, Jonathan Hogart from Murray State was a player who, upon researching, I loved getting to see what he has done. And 19 home runs on the season with a 359 isolated power. I mean, he's walking 12% of the time. This is a young man that I think is making a substantial amount of money for himself, where 3 weeks ago, I don't think he was even in consideration. But I think Jonathan Hogart, depending on what Murray State does, he could be a very healthy day 3, maybe late day 2 pick. For a team looking for a senior sign with a little bit of flash. Murray State's a lot of fun, man. They're a lot of fun. Can we pick them over Duke though, Nate? I mean, is that just stupid? Is it stupid to do that?
I'll jump Rhys a little bit here because we're in the Murray State discussion. I think that they're really good, man. The lineup is so deep. I was going through names the other day, and it was just, 7-hole guys having 2 home run performances in a regional in one of the most hostile territories in the country. And then
how about
this Ram Kellum guy?
Oh, boys.
Who just is,
It's 5-4,
Little Rock?
bottom of the 9th.
Little Rock
Southern
time?
No.
Oh.
Miami, Southern Miss.
Interesting. Nate, I'll say this while we're waiting on this. We're getting hyped up on the mound. Oh, my gosh. Nate, I'm going to take Murray State in 3 because I just realized that AJ Gracia is not going to play in Game 1 unless we have an NCAA intervention. Maybe Murray State just comes out and starts punching, man. Like you said, this is a fun team, and I feel bad for not taking UTSA, so I'm gonna ride with the Racers. Murray State in 3.
Rhys, who do you got there?
I'm going to ride with someone who I respect a lot. Offered me a job at one point. Brian Sikowski. I'm going to go with him and his Duke Blue Devils. I feel like I got to ride with my boy. Go Lions. I love Dan Campbell as much as I love any of my family members, and I'm sure he does the same.
Man, I'm so on the fence here, but as of kind of last night, I've just been beating the Murray State drum. I was beating it once again in our Discord, Prospects Live Discord today. My eyes were glued to all 9 innings of that game today, and that's something that doesn't happen very often with me in college baseball. So despite me thinking that Duke will probably win this, I have got to go with Murray State and just the magic that they're putting on right now. If they were to make it to Omaha, it's incredible. I don't know. It's a little goosebumps kind of thing.
I have a perfect image if Duke doesn't win. Shout out to White Lotus season 2 or 3, actually.
I have no idea where you're going with that, but I'm instantly invested.
Yeah. So moving on to our last completed super regional matchup right here, Tennessee at Arkansas, and I think that we should just let Drew have 5 minutes here. So that's all I've got. Go ahead.
I don't need 5 minutes.
I need 10.
I think that we have seen what Tennessee can do. We've seen their best, we've seen their worst. I think that Tennessee has arguably the most electric pitcher in the nation. I think we have bullpen guys who can absolutely blaze away opposing batters. We've got the hottest hitter on planet Earth, maybe, in Andrew Fisher, and a lineup who looks offensively incredibly deep. Manny Marin tonight was a triple away from the cycle, our 9-hole freshman shortstop. Arkansas is incredibly, incredibly dangerous. I respect Arkansas. If this is the end of Tennessee's season, I'm not mad. I don't think it is. I think we're going back. I think we're going to get a little bit more Oma Vols in 2025. I think that my hat's going to be just as relevant. I can't wait to wear it. I can't wait to see Rocky Top in Omaha. And it unfortunately goes through one of my favorite teams, the Arkansas Razorbacks. So give me Tennessee in 3.
Rhys, I know we're both watching this Southern Miss game right now, bottom 9, 2 outs, but any thoughts on Tennessee, Arkansas?
Oh, man. I don't want to. Whoa. Batter lost his bat. Pretty crazy. Okay. So, I mean, I could really go either way. So I'm going to say it's going to go in 3. And, I mean, we don't have any point scoring or anything. And I want my friend Drew to be happy. So I'm going to go with Tennessee. I feel like Tennessee has a good lineup. Their pitching staff's just as good. It might be a little less deep. I think Arkansas's got a really deep stable of arms, but I just think that the hitting. I think Tennessee has the hitting with, like you said, the hottest hitter on the face of the planet right now.
Please don't feel like you guys don't. You don't have to say Tennessee. You don't have to say Tennessee.
I was going to go Tennessee no matter what. I should have put my name in the doc beforehand so you didn't know. I just like what they're cooking up over there, and I think that this is just a 50-50 series. So when in doubt, I take, the Liam Doyle team. I feel like is a fair assumption for me. But I'm excited to watch that. I think that's our most closely contested / maybe best matchup of the Supers. I think that's probably the most even one as well.
I'm really interested now in Louisville and Miami. I know that we're not, that's to come in its own time once we get it confirmed. But I really do agree with you. I think that the boxing match, the heavyweight fight, it is Tennessee and Arkansas. I think those teams are going to beat the absolute hell out of each other, unfortunately.
Okay. And moving on to our next super regional, pardon me. We're going to go straight to Rhys on this one because I think I know where he's going to land. West Virginia versus LSU / Little Rock. That game is not finalized yet. Most likely to be LSU based on the score. Rhys, who do you got there?
You should have gone with Big Nate, by the way. When you said that would have been awesome. With that little disclaimer. But I'm going to go with West Virginia. I've been riding West Virginia, all season. I think that they've been doing a really good job. Make a lot of good contact. Their pitching's really good, and I think they have a chance to upset LSU or knock off everyone's favorite story except Will Thompson's Little Rock.
Drew, what do you think?
Give me LSU. I would happily take this as a Little Rock by default because our buddy Will, he could theoretically be Short Will. He could be Big Nate. He could be Gumby Will. Excuse me. A lot of good things can come from this, but I'm going LSU. LSU has disgusting pitching, and Rhys made a good point. West Virginia has great pitching. I like LSU's more. I think that LSU has a bullpen full of threats. And we're not seeing the best out of Danny Dickinson right now. We're not seeing the best out of Jared Jones right now. I would argue we're not even really seeing the best out of Derek Curiel right now. So if we are going to be seeing them on rest as they should have been in the last couple of days, I think LSU, I'm not going to say they dog walk West Virginia. That's very disrespectful. I think LSU in 3, though.
Yeah, I've started drinking Rhys's West Virginia Kool-Aid going back to our predictions.
It's just called moonshine.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's just moonshine here.
I've been drinking the West Virginia Spit Cups. But I think, first of all, if Little Rock does somehow pull this off, 100% Little Rock, I stand with them.
Oh.
However, LSU, what do you got, Rhys?
Little Rock just scored a run on Ianson.
7-6.
My. And they've got 2 on, 1 out.
2 on, 1 out.
So I'm going to
Tyson's about to
record
walk
this assuming LSU wins. And if they lose, we might have to come back at the end of the episode and redo this part. I think that's fair.
That's fine with me. Mine doesn't change.
I choose not to look at LSU in its worst performance of the year. I don't think that's a fair lens. I don't think you're going to get that again. They'll host. I know that all those things didn't bode well for them in the regional or whatnot, struggling against a under 500 Little Rock team. But it was the worst performance of the year. They didn't walk that many batters all season. So I'm still all in on the LSU pitching staff, and I think that offense is legit. So I'm going to stay with them. Our last super regional, Louisville and Miami, who just beat Southern Miss. Rhys, what do you think there?
No, I think this one could go either way. I don't know if I have a super strong lean. I'm really upset that I have to go first. This is tough. This is really great air. This is me just like sitting, squirming mentally.
I can go first if you'd rather me, Rhys.
No, I gotta make it. I gotta make a call. You've been going first a lot. I'm gonna go with Miami. I feel like Miami's got the offense. I think they can get it done against Louisville. But it's going to be really close. It's going to come down to like the bottom of the 8th inning in the 3rd game or something, or bottom of the 9th inning in the 3rd game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I definitely respect what the Hurricanes can do offensively. Daniel Cuvette is amazing. We're seeing him become maybe a top 5 overall guy for the 2026 draft in front of our face right now, at least from the college side. He's looked like an absolute monster. Currently on the year, 17 homers, 343 ISO, yuck. But one of my best takes from the regional round was to say that Louisville should not be underestimated. So I'm going to listen to somebody who very often lets me down, Drew Wheeler, and I'm going to go with Louisville. I'm going to say Louisville will not let me down here. They can't be counted out. So if it's Zion Rose, it's Zion Rose. If it's Jake Monroe, if it's Lucas Moore, if it's Louisville, it's Louisville. Let's ride. Let's see what happens here.
I'm right there with you, Drew. I'm going Louisville as well. I just wasn't moved by either team incredibly over the whole year, but specifically in the regional round. I know Louisville did well. I don't like watching Miami baseball a whole lot. I don't know why, and it's one of those.
It's the green and orange. It's gross. Their jerseys
I don't like
disgusting.
their colors at all, or their logo, or anything like that. I really
everything
don't.
about it's gross. Also, it's an Alex Rodriguez field, and he never played there. It's very weird. Very weird college.
I think jerseys matter.
Let me ask a question. Is this a color combination thing, or do we need to have a conversation about orange with baseball jerseys?
No, orange and green is
like
a disgusting. I like orange a lot. Orange is an underrated color.
I think Oklahoma State, like orange and black, is awesome.
That's a great combo. That's true.
I honestly think Oregon State is very good as well.
Oregon State has a good uni. Yeah,
I think orange is a primarily underrated color, like Rhys just said. I'm just saying the exact same thing. But Miami doesn't do it well, in my opinion. I think they tried getting too retro Nike-ish, kind of like Eugene does, or University of Oregon does in Eugene. They're just trying to do too much sometimes with their colors.
It's the green. It's the clash.
I think so. I don't really like Miami in any sport. I guess this is a bias thing, maybe. I don't know.
Not a big Carson Beck guy?
No.
Now there's his ex-girlfriend, by the way.
Yeah, what? So
that's a different conversation entirely.
I hope I roll my R's right. Well, I'm moving slow. Hell, I'll let her take control.
right, and we are back. I want to say thank you to the Drop Teens for that wonderful musical interlude between our segments. Guys, we've talked about the Super Regionals. We have ticked that box off of the agenda. Now we have a fun game to play. Rhys, you and I play games quite often. Nate, it seems like as On Deck continues to roll along, we have games going nearly every week. I like it. I like a game. I also like a draft. So today, what we have decided to do for all of you at home is something I'm going to call the deep cut draft. And how we have decided what prospect are deep cuts is we took the Prospects Live Dynasty team's top 600 prospects. And we are saying anybody who is ranked 200 or above by the consensus 8 rankers is off the table. We have to draft guys that are ranked 201 by the team or lower. And it's not a standard draft. We have the following positions we are going to draft. Everybody needs one catcher, a corner infielder, a middle infielder, a utility batter, 3 outfielders, a right-handed pitcher, a left-handed pitcher, and a wild card. Rhys, being that the wild card was your idea, do you want to explain what we are looking for wild card picks?
I just love to draft, honestly, and I just wanted an extra round. And there's more guys that I want to talk about.
Beautiful. I love it. Nate, I'm curious. You are picking first, and something that you were very stern on is, first of all, this is America. We're doing a snake draft, and you were very quick to say that, and I support that. Secondly, you have the first pick, so I'm curious, before you make your pick, what's the logic here? Do you have any sort of, are you wanting to attack a position of scarcity in your mind, or are you looking to just take your best available talent?
Yeah, so I'm definitely using our top 600 list as something to go off of, as I do think drafting someone who's more in the 200 to 300 range with my first pick is probably smart, just as you would probably take the best talent on the board in any draft. So with my first pick, I'll be going with someone who's earlier in the draft who I don't want to see you guys get because I love him, and I'm also going position of need because he's the only guy I wrote down for this position. So,
yikes. All right. Well, without further ado, shall we kick off the deep cut draft with pick 1-1? Nate, you're on the clock.
Yeah, and I'm gonna turn in my card in no time here. I'm going straight to Jimmy Crooks. I'm doing it right away. I think that this is a situation where a fantasy list would have him lower than a real life list, perhaps. I think he's probably a top 200 guy for a typical prospect list. Because the defense is very good behind the plate. I sneaky like him a lot with the bat. I like everything I've seen with him. I think he's got a well-rounded profile, in my opinion. And Cardinals have been pumping out catchers like nobody's business lately. I choose to think that might be, an actual thing that they do really well. And I think Jimmy Crooks will get a good chance with the Major League squad soon, kind of pushing Herrera to another spot. So Jimmy Crooks is just going to be my 1-1 here, and I'm going to keep it short and succinct.
I like it. Nice pick. I like your analysis behind it. In order, again, to keep it succinct, because I think we are picking and talking about 24 players, Rhys, we will go to you, my friend. Rhys, you're up. I'm curious, what's your strategy here? Are you going position of need or best available? Scarce position, I should say, rather.
I think I'm going to go... What would you guys say is the most scarce position? Because catcher is one of them. And I think there's not a lot of right-handed pitchers. There's some that I like in this range, but there's not a lot. And I think I got to take him before Drew does. I'm going to go with right-handed pitcher Bryce Cunningham. I think that he's a little underranked, and I think that the Yankees pump out pitching prospects left, right, and center.
I like that pick. I think you did a good job. That does sting a little bit. I'm trying to update my draft board as we go. All right, let's see. Looking at my board, I'll tell you another position that I think is incredibly shallow from my rankings. You said right-handed pitching was shallow. I can't find as many lefties because, as you guys have noticed, you actually have an advantage because my rankings are baked into this list. You can see my rankings at any given point. However, as I said, this was a ranking from May. I hate this list, so who knows where I'm going with this craziness. I'm going to take a left-handed pitcher first, and actually, Actually, I can't commit to that. I don't know that I'm going to take a left-handed pitcher first. I'm scared now. I have to make this work. I'm coming off of an incredibly successful dip draft, and I would nary want to disappoint the fans at home. Okay, we're going to go with a left-handed pitcher. I am going to take one of my favorite niche prospects, one of my favorite genres of prospect. I'm going to take a Colorado Rockies pitcher because why wouldn't I? We're going to go with Sean Sullivan as a left-handed pitcher for Drew's first pick 1-3. I think that it is a scarce position. And Rhys, before you say it, I'm going to say it. Sean Sullivan is crafty. He is a junk ball guy. He is a command-oriented arm. But Rhys, what are his 3 pitches? Off the top of your head, do you know?
Fastball, gyro, slider, and I think he's a changeup guy, or I think he's a splitter.
It is a changeup. If he had a splitter, then it'd be the literal perfect skill set for Coors Field. Nate, I don't think I've done my pitching in Coors Field rant yet. And of course, because we're trying to speed this along, it won't be done today either. But pitching can work at Coors Field, and I think Sean Sullivan is a great example of a pitcher who could work at Coors Field. Now I am left with an interesting proposition because Jimmy Crooks was one of the 4 catchers I have on my board. I'm trying to decide which of the other 2 I think is worth taking here. I have a guy that I've been in on longer, and I have a guy that I think might be better. YOLO, you only live once, as the children say. Nate, you know all about that. I'm going to go with catcher Rafael Flores of the New York Yankees.
That's a good pick.
Thank you. I agree. Flores this year, 11 home runs, currently running a 235 isolated power. We think he's due for a promotion to AAA any day now. I think he's slugging, and I think we're going to see him as part of a dynamic catching duo in AAA any day now. The Yankees, they make catchers too, guys, and they make good catchers. That's going to be my pick, Rafael Flores for 2-1. And Rhys, that takes it back to you, my friend.
I'm going to dip into the left-handed pitching market, and I'm going to go with Alex Clemmie. His stuff is pretty bonkers. Oh, dude, I did not. I told you, left-handed pitching's rough on this list. Dude, he's finding the command. Everything's sort of working for him. I was very worried that he's a reliever. Even if he's a reliever, this dude's going to be nails out of the bullpen. Alex Clemmie's my guy.
He's very good.
You could argue I could have just taken him in the first round just to make sure I got him.
Yeah, so my whole thing was trying to figure out if I was going to take Crooks or Clemmie because they were the only 2 guys I had written down at their respective spots. So I will be taking left-handed pitcher in the very last round when I do some research in between picks to figure out who I want to take.
Nice.
I'm going to go – this is my pick, correct? Yes. For the 6th overall pick, I'm going to go Henry Bolt out of I almost said Oakland, out of the Athletics of –
Sacramento, Vegas.
Sacktown.
I'm just putting myself in a blender right here. I really like Bolt. I think he's done a really good job so far this year. I think his stock is on the rise, and I think he is just a really good all-around player. I don't know.
I like that choice. I think that's a good choice.
I like that choice as well. Let's see. I don't really have to draft a catcher now, so I can kind of wait on my one option.
Rhys, you actually aren't on the clock. As per snake rules.
Nate that's right.
Rhys got lost in the snake. I'm going to go right back up to the outfield, and I'm going to go Bo Davidson, who is my biggest prospect crush that I've seen this season play baseball. I think he has made enormous jumps from his first season in professional ball. He's dominated high this year with the power speed combo, elite bat speed, elite exit velocities. He's so toolsy, and if he clicks, he will be a all-star level player, but it is if he clicks. There's still a lot of projection needed to be done. There's a lot of swing and miss, but I love how he plays baseball. So I'm going to go Bo Davidson.
Interesting. I like that choice too. Bold choice, Nate. Rhys, that brings us to you, buddy, in the 3rd round.
In the 3rd round, I can kind of mess around however I want. I got the 2 positions that I was very afraid of, and I can wait on the 3rd. I have 2 options between there, so if you guys take one of mine, that's fine. I am going to go with who I think might be the highest ranked prospect when we re-rank. I'm going to go with in my middle infield slot, Angel Feliz. He has been destroying the complex. There's power, there's speed. He can play a really good shortstop. I think there's a chance he's the next 5-tool shortstop.
That's a very good pick. Let's see. Okay. Feliz is a good pick. All right, I'm trying to adjust on the fly here. I feel like we need a clock because I need to make a pick and not just dilly and dally. Okay, I'm going to delay breaking Nate's heart until the 4th round. Okay, in round 3, I'm going to take a player who I have found myself waving the banner for since he was drafted. This is a player who I think has done nothing other than show that he's a pro hitter. Currently an outfielder for the Yankees Class A advanced team. I'm taking Brendan Jones, an outstanding outfielder from Kansas State. Guys, 4 home runs, 23 stolen bases in 44 games. Currently walking 14% of the time, striking out 18% of the time, getting on base at a 350 clip. I think Brendan Jones, there's things that need to be adjusted for sure, but I'm still very much invested here, and I think he's being undervalued across the fantasy industry. So I like him there. And then, I am sorry in advance, my friend Nate, but in the 4th round, I'm going to be taking Craig Yoho as my right-handed pitcher. Wow, okay, that's an expression. So, yeah, Craig Yoho, according to this what are we doing here? Are you Big Nate?
He's going Big Nate.
He's going into Big Nate so that he can be big disappointed. Okay. There's this fun tool at Prospects Live called the the Dynasty Closer Hierarchy. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. My buddy Nate writes it, and he talks a lot about how good Craig Yoho is. Little does he know, I've been on that pirate life since before that tool came out too. So give me Craig Yoho. He's the best closer in the MLB waiting to happen. And he's a righty. Rhys, that kicks it to you in round 4, buddy.
Okay, round 4. I was just about to text Will that he is safe.
Oh, what a bummer.
Okay. No one has their corner infielder yet, and I don't like first base prospect. As I notably said, I don't pay attention to them until they hit 25 home runs in the major leagues. I'm going to go with someone who honestly, I don't think he'd be a prospect eligible if he was in any other system. I'm going to go with Jonathan Long of the Chicago Cubs as I think that he is continually underranked. There's no spot for him with Chicago, but he's going to get traded hopefully at the deadline, and I think he's going to become a really good, good contact. Good, there's more power than you would think. He can't really play third base. He can't really play second base. He might have to play first base.
Hold on a second. Is Jonathan Long eligible?
Yeah, he's not a prospect. He's not in the top 200.
I have him at number 135.
Where's he at overall?
135. I have him at 117. I had him at 135 for the team.
Really?
Yeah.
I do not know how to read.
I was going to say, breaking news. Rhys can't read. Second breaking news, because I would have definitely drafted Jonathan Long earlier than this.
My parents sent me to public school. Blame them. Well, that changes everything.
Now you double hate the corner infield, huh?
Yeah, no, I definitely hate it. I'm going to start going with some of my outfielders. I'm going to go with Joseph Sullivan. This dude has more tools than anybody in the business, and I think that he has a chance to be a really good 4th outfielder. That's his floor.
I like that pick. Let's see. Joseph Sullivan.
All right, I believe
good choice.
That goes over to me. You know what? I'm going to go pitcher here. I'm going to go Ty Johnson. I have been super impressed this year with Ty. And but the only problem in my eyes is that he's a Tampa Bay Rays prospect, and I like every single Tampa Bay Rays pitching prospect. So that kind of scares me a little bit at times. But at the same time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think he's got sub 3 FIP this year, and he's a dang good pitcher. Circling around for my first pick in the 5th round, I'm gonna finish up outfield. I'm gonna go Zach Earhart of the Boston Red Sox. I've written about him multiple times in the daily sheet, and when I write about a guy like more than 3 times, I tend to start looking in deeper because I'm like, there must be some reason why he always flashes, and I think Zach Earhart is one of the next up for the Red Sox, who always seem to have interesting prospects. So those are my 2.
Yes, quite. I like that. Rhys, that's going to bring it to you, buddy, at
I like
fifth
it.
round.
I don't need to draft a catcher. I'm gonna go with my util spot. I'm gonna make sure I can read. Stupid parents sent me to public school. I'm gonna go with Kyle DeBarge.
That's a great pick.
I think he might be one of the best players that the Twins drafted in what is looking like a really good draft class. We'll have to do that, revisiting the draft class here soon, because there are some teams that really nailed it that aren't getting the coverage that they deserve.
Yes, they are. That's a great point. Oh, man, that was a great pick. I feel a little bit shaken, but not terribly shaken, Rhys, because I'm going to go with another middle infielder from last year's class. I would like it, please, if for round 5, pick 3, Drew's going to get a middle infielder, Mr. Caleb Bonham of the Chicago White Sox organization. I had him at 95. He ended up at 202. So I'm pretty satisfied with that selection this late, especially. And then let's see. Let's take a look at the overall board really quickly, because Drew needs some outfield. Drew needs corner, infield, and wild card. I pretty much have my wild card blocked. You guys aren't going to pick this guy. Okay. Corner, infield, man, there's so many of those that I'm really into. Rhys, I know you're shocked to hear me say that. Okay. Let's keep up the love for last year's draft. I love last year's FYPD class. So we will keep the praise going. Give me corner infielder Ryan Nicholson of the Angels. Nicholson was a University of Kentucky product. As of this year, he in 46 games for the Angels High A affiliate, 6 home runs, currently walking and striking out 19% of the time, getting on base at a 4.13 clip. Hitting for power, 184 isolated power. This is a guy that people need to be talking more about. There's a pedigree of play at a high level, and now he's showing it as a professional. Look out for Ryan Nicholson. He could be a thing.
I really like those 2 picks, Drew.
Thank you, sir.
Me too.
Thank you, sir.
Do I want to go outfield? Do I want to go... I'm going to go with an interesting outfielder who's destroying it on the complex. I'm going to go with Ching Sen Ko of the Dodgers. He has been absolutely destroying the complex. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him up with the Nate, man. You gotta, I don't know what to tell you, my man.
I just think they're going to fall, and they don't, because I learned everything I know from Rhys, so he likes the guys I like.
No.
I would apologize, but I'm not going to.
No, you shouldn't. You have great takes, just like I do. I spent like 5 minutes trying to learn how to pronounce his name before this episode, because I was like, I'm totally going to get him.
I almost wasn't going to pick him because I was
pronouncing his name. So you actually did a good job.
Shing Sing Ko. Is that right?
I had Cinco.
Cinco? Yeah, that's how I would pronounce it. Shing Sing Ko.
Yeah. For my 2 picks here, I'm going to go Tyson Lewis up the middle. I think that's just kind of a sexy pick right there. I think that looks good in a graphic.
It does.
It does, right?
You're just playing to the social media crowd.
That is my social media pick right there, is Tyson Lewis. I think he's a dang good player. Is he one of my guys? No, not necessarily. But I didn't have any middle infielders that were extremely my guys. For my utility spot, I'm going to go Jesus Rodriguez of the Yankees, who plays a little bit of catcher, plays some third, plays a couple different spots. He's been raking this year, man, and if there's one thing that the Yankees can do is develop some power-hitting backstops who can't really play defense, and he might just be the next one in line. So Jesus Rodriguez for my utility.
like
I love that because he was very much in consideration to be my catcher. That's not fun.
How does it feel?
It's fine. It's fine. I think I'm doing pretty all right. Okay. I think I'm going to finish out the outfield. I'm going to go with a pretty buzzy name. Hayden Alvarez. He has been absolutely electric. He's the next Eduardo Quintero.
Wow. Jeez Louise, Rhys.
I
have to talk after you say that. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. I know where my heart wants to go, but I need to do a quick research before we do.
Let me just look up what's Drew's next ranked guy.
Please stop. Don't be that guy.
I wouldn't do that.
Now. Don't be
I
that
wouldn't.
guy
That's terrible.
It's not great, but one of my favorite players is actually crashing out super hard. I do not like that. He will take another slide in the rankings, so prepare for that, you all at home. Okay, if we're going to take buzzy names, and I've already taken one stolen base threat, I'll do it again. Give me Asbel Gonzalez of the Royals. This is a young cat who I think we're really seeing what he can do in terms of be a threat on the base paths. 40 steals in 46 games. Gets on base at a really respectable 415 clip. Walks 10% of the time. Power nearly non-existent, but I don't think that really matters. A guy that's running like this, really, what is the difference? I'm not gonna incite any Royals rage. I'll leave that for you guys. That's something you guys do on the reg. Okay. I will take another utility player here, and because apparently this is the unwritten theme for me in this draft, we're going to take somebody from last year's FYPD class, and we're going to go to the Oakland Athletics, and I'm going to be taking Sir Tommy White as my util batter. Tommy White, gentlemen,
sucks.
He has decided that he can hit the ball for average. 320 this year, and the power hasn't gone anywhere. 250 ISO, 7 home runs. I think that's a draft-winning pick in the 8th round. I feel very, very happy with that. Rhys, to you, my friend.
Well, that is awful because that was where I was hoping to go. Great last name.
Absolutely.
Now I'm scrambling. Do I want to go with my catcher? Do I want to go with my... I figure our wild card could be our last pick. Like, someone that we really care about. That's how I'm going to interpret it. My catcher. I'm going to go with Johan Fran Garcia. He is the brother of Just Dixon. The family has a way with names. Let me tell you that. He was hitting better than Just Dixon was before he tore his ACL, I believe. It was a knee injury. But he's been awesome. He's been rehabbing a little bit in the complex. I think that he has a chance to sort of break out and become one of the next interesting Red Sox prospects because they continue to grow those on trees.
Yes, they do.
What's our criteria for corner infield? Because this guy's played.
I'm willing to get
third.
I'm willing to get as crazy as you guys are.
How about this, Nate? Pitch the name to us, and we can approve or disapprove. But I will say this: if you play ball with me, I'll play ball with you.
I really want Devin Fitzgerald. Complex Texas Ranger, just is swinging maybe the hottest bat in the complex right now. Has been. He does a little bit of everything, and he's a utility guy. And I should have taken Jesus Rodriguez as my third baseman, who is also a utility guy. But I do have a backup option if that does not appease the court.
I'm with it.
Thanks.
Yes, I think that's.
He plays her once a week.
That's
fine with me,
man.
For my left-handed pitcher, I'm going to go Cash Mayfield. It's got the most potential from the left side of everyone left, in my opinion. Not to be a guy to spoil picks, but we've already taken our lefties. Santucci was a debate here as well, but I think Mayfield has the upside out of those two.
I really like that pick a lot. I think Santucci is a great shout. We've got a couple other lefties that we could talk about in terms of also rans here in a minute. But Rhys, that takes us to you for the 9th round.
This is my last player on my board, so I don't know who the heck I'm going with my wild card. I'm going to go with one of my favorite. He's a corner, and he plays shortstop, third base, but he plays a lot more third base. I'm going to go with Yoniaker Ugarte of the Kansas City Royals because I want to appease that fan base. I think this dude is going to be sweet. I'm a big fan of him. Now that I got the Royals fans back on my side after not liking Cags, I'm all in this power. I think it's above average, maybe plus power with with average swing decisions. I think he can sort of make it work.
I like that. All right, I am torn because I need an outfielder, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not going to screw the pooch here.
I think I know where you're going.
I have a guy in mind that balances incredibly well with Jones and Gonzalez. Because, see, Jones and Gonzalez can hit and get on base, and they steal, but they don't have any power. So if only I took a guy that has a ton of power but can't hit the ball, that's one option. And if you guys can shout out who that is, I'll give you credit at home. Or we could do a very Drew thing, and I think we may end up doing that. I just need to do a quick check. Yeah, that's not ideal. I'm not going to go that direction. This is fun for you guys at home, for sure. You guys are both done with your outfield, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm done with my outfield. I just need my wild card. So does Nate.
Very good. Okay. So the name I was thinking of was Billy Cook from the Pirates. If Billy Cook, I don't know. That's a fun thing. It could be a lot more fun, but if he could hit, boy, that'd be a thing. I have another direction that I think I might go. Actually, hard no on that. Guys, I'm really sorry. This is such good listening for you all at home. Okay, all right. Need to make a pick. Okay, I'll eat a little bit of crow, and I'll keep on the theme of last year's draft. How about that? I'll eat a little bit of crow because I said that this guy also could not hit the ball. I said that on the 2080 scale, he had a hit tool that was I think I said a 10, maybe a 5.
Mean.
Look, I'm not being mean. I'm just trying to be realistic about Dakota Jordan, who is going to be my third outfielder. Dakota Jordan has shown that he is hitting for average, but where's the power? Don't know. That's okay because he's stolen 18 bases in 47 games for the Giants A club. I like what I'm seeing, but boy, I'd love to see some more of that freak show power from Dakota Jordan. So that is going to be my final outfielder. And then if you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to take one of my Drew guys. Go ahead.
Never a doubt, according to Will Thompson.
Never a doubt. Yeah, I bet never a doubt. Okay. All right. For the Drew guy, we're going to go with one of the best stories in minor league baseball. I'm curious if you guys have ever heard of Lyle Miller Green. Anything?
No.
Lyle Miller Green, or as he is better known, the Siberian Sultan of SWAT, played at Austin Peay State University after being a JUCO, just a bandit across the states. Led a lot of national statistics, last season. Was picked on day 3 by the Chicago White Sox. As of this season, we are seeing Lyle Miller Green deliver on what I'd like to see out of him. That's hitting the ball hard. It's showing a little bit of speed. It's showing a little bit of a willingness to impact the game however he can. However, he is pretty old for the age. He's currently 24 in A-ball. Time is running out for him. That said, he was adopted from Siberia at a very young age, and his parents brought him to the U.S. where he has discovered a love for baseball, and through his travels has become one of my favorite players. Loved getting to see him through my deep data dive of last year's college players. We'll go with Lyle Miller Green because he's close to me and because I can't pick Kiner Delgado here. So, Rhys, we will throw it to you for your final pick, your wild card.
That is a great question. I need to see where I want to go with here. There's a lot of ways in which I could go. Do I want to go with someone that I think has a lot of buzz, who could be a breakout prospect? And you know what? I am. We talked about it with Alex Kempton. This guy shouldn't be as underranked as he is. We're going to talk about, here we go, Endy Azokar. he is currently, let me pull what Andy Azekar is doing, because he has been awesome. Andy Azekar just recently destroyed the complexes, and now all of a sudden he's 18 years old playing in single A. We're talking about a guy who's showing, he hasn't shown a lot of power, but there's power potential here. As Alex mentioned, he can really square up batted balls, and I think we're talking about a really good stolen base threat. And when the power comes, we're talking about an electric factory.
Like that a lot. 30th pick in the draft, Nate. Your wild card, sir.
Yeah, there's no one who's more of a wild card than Riku Nishida of the Chicago White Sox.
I love Nishida so much.
Great choice.
My first hit I ever gave up in college baseball was to Riku, who was a Pacific Northwest JUCO bandit before he went to Oregon and swung a wood bat because JUCO in the Pacific Northwest is a wood bat league. Riku got on first base, and then he very quickly got to second and third base via the stolen base against me. One of the best players I've ever played against, so followed his story from then on because he was a buzzy name back then as far as, where's he going to go after JUCO. And then he had a heck of a year at Oregon, and he's been, as advertised in the White Sox system, it's a crazy profile. His idol is Ichiro, and he plays, the game a lot like Ichiro. The swing and everything is very similar. And there's not a hint of power in the bat, but he's an electric player, and I couldn't think of a better wild card to round out my team.
Very nice.
There was points where he was swinging and missing at like 7% or less of the pitches that he faced. Like we're talking about like maybe elite bat to balls, and maybe if he can just figure out the power, we're talking about right now. Like even in Double A, 7.4 swinging strike rate. Like we're talking about like a freak show as far as like contact goes.
Really
I wish I would have picked him. Damn it, that's such a good pick.
Nishida is a good pick. So I've got a couple of names, guys, of guys who were not selected.
Mike Sirota was the one still staying on my board. I wish I had.
If you could swap out Sirota for anybody, would you, Nate?
No, I love my outfielders so much, but I almost went with a wild card.
Your outfield's good.
I like your outfield also. A lot of upside there. Rhys, anybody that you want to talk about still being on the board that you wish you would have taken or considered really heavily?
I really wish I would have taken Nishida. I thought I was a big fan of him. I don't really know if there's a lot of guys that I really like banging down the door to that I really wanted to grab. I think I grabbed I grabbed every single one of my guys, and then you guys grabbed a couple of my guys too. So it makes me feel good that all my guys got drafted.
Very good. Just really quick, a couple of guys from various positions that I had highlighted. At the catcher position, Ramon Ramirez could have sworn would have been drafted.
Oh, he was my other catching pick.
And then Ethan Anderson. Ethan Anderson, again, last year FYPD class. We're going to play with that theme this whole time. Corner infielders, I had Billy Amick and Blake Burke, two Tennessee guys, and that was nearly a direction I went, but I didn't want to be too predictable for once in my life. Let's see. Left-handed pitcher, I had Ethan Scheifelbein from, again, last year's FIPD. Herrick Hernandez, see the same. Javier Mogalone from the White Sox, I thought absolutely would have gotten drafted here, and he did not. That would have been a clever util for me, but we're going to go with my boy, Lyle Miller Green. Let's see. Here was something with outfield. I was going to ask you guys if I could slot Otto Kemp into outfield, even though he's a corner, because that was the original direction I wanted to go with. The third outfielder spot was Otto Kemp, but I'm going to stick with Dakota Jordan because it feels a little shaky. And then right-handed pitchers that I thought might have gotten drafted: Ty Floyd, Rhys. I've still got the Ty Floyd fever. Brody Brecht, who is another one of my guys I think could be good, and another Tennessee Volunteer and a man with a great first name, Drew Beam. So
I thought about Herrick Hernandez too. I like him a lot, funky lefty. But obviously Alex Clemmy being there had to take maybe a guy who's probably a top 100 prospect.
There you go. Absolutely.
I almost took Brody Brecht, Drew. Luis Cova is someone I had. Austin Charles.
Yeah.
Felipe Dituri, I thought would have been a great wild card selection just based on the name. And I think he's a good baseball player as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then I had Will Simpson on there because that is the scouting report that got me this job, even though he is really bad this year. But one of my guys.
Alas, it happens.
Troy Melton also deserves a shout. He was on my periphery list. I like him a lot.
Yeah. Most certainly. I tell you what would be kind of fun to do is just look at guys who were at the top of the draft board that didn't get selected. That's probably the smartest thing to do here. Let's see.
I tried to cheat at one point. Grabbed a guy who was not eligible.
You did try to cheat, but you know.
132.
Let's see. Top names not selected. Edwin Arroyo, not really on my list. I think he's going to slide further for me. Dylan Beavers, Carl Stephan, pretty good one from the Blue Jays. Braxton Ashcraft, Alejandro Ozuna, Richard Fitz.
Is this where I say I'm not an Osuna guy? I just don't get it. I don't get the hype.
I second that notion. Yeah, I had Osuna ranked at 517, and the team had him at 206. So Rhys, we are simpatico as normal. Guys like Noah Cameron, Richard Fitz, I tried not to take because they're in the major leagues. That felt kind of shady. Abimelech Ortiz is a guy that would have been fun at corner infield. I've always been banging the drum for him as well. Lots of good players there, but alas, the game has to end eventually. So be sure to look out on the Twitter machine whenever this episode drops, because we are going to let you decide who had the best minor league deep cut draft. But that's going to do it for this segment. Nate, do you want to walk everybody through what's going on at Prospects Live?
I can do this segment if you guys want.
You're right. I'm so sorry. Rhys, please let me shut the hell up. You please tell us what's going on at PLive.
PLive news. We're going to go through that. We got the MiLB daily sheets. Those are rolling along. We have college daily sheets. I think I wanted to change up the format this time. I think I want to keep everybody on the same super regional. Just stay on the super regional the entire weekend if I can. Jake Bargree has his draft conference preview, which has been fantastic. Max Ellingson's MLB draft preview has been fantastic. Will Thompson went and saw some prospects. Sebastian Walcott and Gage Jump, who might be better than Jonah Tong. I don't know. This guy named Drew did an interview with someone. Cooper Underwood, Carrie's son? Question mark. We had the Sunday Smoke. Paul Goldschmidt was the main feature on that. The Dynasty Baseball Pickups guys were talking about the DSL preview. I will be having something out at the DSL. I don't know why I put this up. This is a lot of people are going to listen to this on their podcast because I see the YouTube views. You guys need to go watch us on YouTube. We have the Dynasty Pod with Greg and Tom. The PLive Plus Top 10 Complex Hitters is going to be coming out soon if it's not already out. And then Brandon Hacker's Live Looks, Basayo, Mayo, Emrod. He's got you all covered.
That was efficient.
Yeah, dude, get the YouTube videos up, guys.
Watch our YouTube video.
The views. You want to see the face of baseball media, not hear the face of baseball media. He's not the voice of baseball media. He's the face.
Exactly.
Moving right along into
America's favorite segment.
Yeah, that has been said. The only one that parents listen to. What's on your mind? Let's start out with Rhys, huh?
Okay. I had two. I'm going to go with one. Gym etiquette. People need to get it together in the gym. It's a shared space. You don't need to be taking phone calls in the sauna. You don't need to be staring at people in the sauna like a freak. You don't need to be fighting with me because you're an old man who wears who's balding and wears a do-rag. What else can we go with? All the various characters I fight with. My gym also took away our towels. I don't appreciate that. I might have been stealing them on accident.
Hold on. Stop. I should have stopped you when you insulted a bald man for being bald. What's up with that? That feels very folliclist.
No. It's bald with a do-rag. That's the decision I don't understand. And he's our skin tone. It's not a look that I understand. And he yelled at me.
I redact that. I redact that. Let me go to this one though. You're accidentally stealing towels. Can you elaborate on that? Because I feel like theft is something you do knowingly, or it is, a legitimate mistake. So I need you to clarify.
I would walk out of the gym with a towel. That was it. But I wouldn't return it. So I have a few at my parents' house. What are they going to do with them? Who knows? Allegedly. Adam told me that if I admit to crimes, I need to say allegedly. Not a real crime.
That's true. He did. If you heard last night, he did mention that. So.
Also, what else bothers me at the gym? Kind of a lot, but most of them is just the fights that I get into with people.
What's been the worst one recently?
The old man who yelled at me for being on my phone in between a rest set. Like I was resting. And I just got done with a set and he yelled at me to get off the machine.
How did that make you feel?
I didn't like it. On a brighter note, though, I'll go with the other one I was talking about. Mickey 17. If you guys need a movie, after you listen to me get really angry about the gym, Mickey 17 is a fantastic movie. You guys should go watch it. It has Robert Pattinson, who is a fantastic actor outside of the Twilight movies, where he was terrible. And everyone in that cast was terrible. But yes, Mickey 17, it's a really interesting premise. It's got a great cast. The guy who created Parasite made that movie, and that is a fantastic movie. If you've not seen Parasite, I cannot recommend that enough. It's one of the best movies of the 2020s. Yeah, Mickey 17 is on HBO now, or Max, whatever the hell they're calling themselves, because they change their name every 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a whole topic inside of itself, is 4 name
Yes.
changes in like 3 years. Robert Pattinson, I love that you said he's a good actor, Rhys. Do you have any other R. Pat movies that you're a fan of?
He was good in Batman.
I agree.
He was very good in Batman.
I
He was also
haven't
in this one that's a lighthouse one where he was like a drunk. I forget the name of it, where he had to eat dirt and drink
Called, like,
liquor.
the-
Isn't it The Lighthouse?
Yeah,
It might be.
It's with
It might be.
the guy
Willem Dafoe.
from-
Willem
yeah.
Dafoe.
That is an all-star cast. Him and William Dafoe. Just those two alone carry a movie.
I haven't seen The Batman, Pattinson and Batman, so I'm going to ask you guys, can you do me a favor? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Can you give me 5-word reviews of The Batman?
Shocked me was good.
You have an extra word. Do you want to use it?
It's all going to be one word pushed together. I expected the worst. It's just going to be one word.
All right. Nate, go.
Paul Dano is the best.
All right.
I love
That's a
that
good take. He's a good actor.
guy. Good
He was
Time
fabulous
by Robert
in-
Pattinson.
Okay.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
Have you guys seen the movie where Robert Pattinson dies in 9/11?
My wife told me about this. Okay, so apparently that's like one of the most like unnecessary twists in film history. Is that correct?
Yes, someone else
Okay.
knows. This is the
Okay.
first time I've been able to have this. I guess I can't really have this conversation with your wife right now. But
Well, I mean,
yeah, okay. Moving on.
Let's get Mallory on the podcast.
let's get now.
We need to actually talk about this because you'll never see this movie. It's a rom-com, more of a serious romance.
I think it's
movie.
called Remember Me, Reese.
It is.
Remember me.
Okay.
It does not
And-
fare well.
It is a serious romantic movie in New York about Robert Pattinson and this lady, and they're falling in love and all this, and everything works out in the end. And then Robert Pattinson is at like a meeting, and then they zoom out of the meeting room, and he's in the freaking Twin Towers. And then they blow up, and that they don't,
It's
9/11
implied.
happens.
It's implied though that he meets his
Didn't make
end as a result of the Taliban and their actions on 9/11.
Correct, and they show like the aftermath of 9/11. It's the most ridiculous plot twist in a movie I've ever. I don't even know how to describe it. Sorry, you can tell I'm worked up.
Drastically unnecessary. This
most
movie could have
unnecessary
ended
thing ever.
with just him being kind of your Joe Blow. I work in New York and the blah blah blah, and you think it's maybe modern day ish. No. Why and why?
They
What's the
cut to
sense
like
of
an
it?
unnecessary scene too, where it's like a teacher in a classroom and she's like writing the date on the whiteboard. This is like the last minute of the movie.
Yes.
September 11th. Yeah.
Mallory
all.
showed me this on, I think it was on TikTok, where she was like, you ever seen this movie? And I was like, no. And so she was like, watch this. And I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall and seen my face, because just like you said, Nate, why? I
Do you
like
guys
the
think
route you
Robert
took
Pattinson should be the next James Bond?
No.
You don't think so?
there. He'd do okay. He did Batman well, according to you guys.
Yeah.
I think
see what else
Idris
he
Elba
was in.
would make a nice James Bond.
Idris Elba's my choice too.
I think he'd be good.
I think the voice matters for
Mm.
Bond. I don't know if Pattinson has a Bond voice.
He has a weird accent in Mickey 17.
No.
Watch it this weekend, or watch it whenever. I know you stay up till late, Nate.
It's late now. It's 12:15 a.m. It's tomorrow for me right now. I think late is kind of a thing we all do in a way.
Yeah.
On that note, Rhys, have you concluded with what's on your mind? I don't want to take over.
No, I think Mickey. I think the gym is the people's etiquette at the gym is a problem, and I did not know that Robert Pattinson was in the Harry Potter movies. Interesting, good for him.
How do you not know that? He was Cedric Diggory.
I forget. Listen. The books are way better.
They
The books
are way better.
Miles better.
So I thought about something. I think for a future installment of What's on Your Mind, I think I'm going to have us all take a fresh Pottermore quiz to determine which houses we would be in at this point in our lives, along with like what your Patronus would be. That way we can really nerd out about Harry Potter. That would be fun. But I
I'd
have
be
kind
with
of
it.
two. I have kind of two things in mind with what's on my mind because I really didn't come into this with anything in mind, folks at home. So I'm sorry if you're looking forward to some Drew Unhinged. I don't have much. What I do have is a story from my childhood. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that okay? Is that okay, Rhys?
Yeah.
Are you permitting this? Thank you.
I'm all on whatever.
Well, thank you. Whenever I was young, I'm going to take you guys back. Actually, let's do this. What year were you guys born in? This is going to make me feel horrible.
I was born in 1997.
Nate, you had to be like what, 2013 or what?
2002.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to take you back to a year, Nate, before you were born. Rhys, you were just a wee lad. I'm going to take you back to 1999. Drew would have been 8 years old, going on 9 in the year 1999. I used to love staying with my grandparents over the summer. They lived a couple of hours away from my folks here in West Tennessee. I used to love to go, and my days were spent with goofing off in the backyard, having lovely snacks, pestering them to make fish sticks at night. That was such a wonderful meal. I remember I'll always associate that with my mamaw. However, Saturday nights would always roll around, and on Saturday nights, my mamaw and Poppy loved to watch a series of shows back to back: Cops and America's Most Wanted. I was uniquely enthralled with Cops because of the material therein. It can often be very exciting. It can often be very funny. It can often be very sad. I feel like I was often, taken. Sorry, dropping the pen. I was taken aback by how many emotions I could feel. But after Cops ended, America's Most Wanted came on. I'll never forget in the summer of 1999, there was a gentleman who was often featured on America's Most Wanted that terrified me. This man, to this day, the thought of his name scares me. So I need you both to please look up this gentleman's face as I tell you about the man who has scared me by name alone for nearly my entire life. I need you to look it up. I'm on Wikipedia. You may do the same. If you wanted to do a Google image search, that's also fine. Just let me know where you're at before you do it, though. Nate, where are you at?
I'm ready.
Okay. Rhys, you okay? Ready?
I'm ready. I can do Google or Wikipedia.
You just let me know where you're at.
I'll just ask ChatGPT to name it and make it. Make this guy's face.
I don't know that you should do that.
Google.
Okay. So the name I need you to look up, Angel, Angel, Maturino, Maturino, Resendez, Resendiz. Angel Maturino Resendez, or as he was known by his alias, a name I will literally never forget as long as I live, Rafael Resendez Ramirez. He was known as the Railroad Killer. He is a Mexican man who is suspected to be involved and confirmed to be involved in as many as 23 murders across the United States and Mexico during the 90s, some of which included sexual assault. He was known as the Railroad Killer because most of his crimes were committed around railroads. He jumps off the trains he is traveling on, so it's impossible to track this guy. The thing that scared me the most is I remember America's Most Wanted would do these dramatic reenactments of the crimes, and they mentioned how Resendez, that's his familial name, or his maternal name. They mentioned that he would often target homes with sliding glass doors because they were easy to break. Would you believe if I said my mama and Poppy had a sliding glass door in the living room as I'm watching this?
Did you live near train tracks?
They did. They did. Not terribly close, but close enough that when I asked my Poppy, I looked at my Poppy, a former United States Marine, maybe the toughest and most hardcore individual I've ever met in my life. I was like, Poppy, train tracks near here? He's like, there are. And I was like, I feel very, I think I don't remember, of course, my words, but I told him I was afraid. And I think he was just like, you're fine. So then it moves on to tell that he likes to pick up things that he finds outside with which to do his business. Ramirez once murdered someone with a very large rock he found. A fire iron. Traumatic stuff. Anyway, he was executed in 2006. He's no longer with us. Very, very scary. Anyway, I bring this up because my wife and I, Mallory, we've recently taken to watching on Pluto TV, which if you guys at home, if you're not watching Pluto, oh my gosh, Pluto is a free television app. It's wonderful. They have a cops channel. And so we watch various cops reruns if ever like we're just kind of chilling and don't have anything else to do or want to talk but just want to kind of have something on in the background while we're just chilling. We'll put cops on. But I told this story to Mallory the other day about how this man scared me to death as a child. And I'll never forget that reenactment. And so right now I'm looking for the episode of America's Most Wanted on YouTube or anywhere I can find it because I think that this is a fear that as an adult man I can conquer. Because obviously I am not now what I once was, but I mean, Nate, I think we've mentioned it kind of in passing. I was a professional wrestler in my younger years. I feel relatively competent in a physical skirmish if one was to occur with anyone, let alone Rafael Resendez Ramirez. And so now I think I want to watch an episode of America's Most Wanted that terrified me as a child, and I want to go a step further and watch it on my newly finished porch out in the open, and I want to conquer my fear. So my question to you guys is, do you think that this is a good thing to do, or am I being stupid?
I think it's good.
Remember it means, that this is good. This is processing healing.
I think so too. Rhys, what do you think?
I'm with Nate there. I think that if that's what helps you, do you have a sliding glass door? Do you live near train tracks?
There are train tracks in town, but I'm not really close to them. And honestly, at this point, I'm not afraid of him. I mean, he's long
no longer
dead
with us.
and no longer with us. His final statement, actually, very, very sad. I want to ask if it is in your heart to forgive me. You don't have to. I know I allowed the devil to rule my life. I just ask you to forgive me and ask the Lord to forgive me for allowing the devil to deceive me. I thank God for having patience in me. I don't deserve to cause you pain. You did not deserve this, and I deserve what I am getting. Just a very complex, haunting individual, and just the thought of him really stirs me, even as an adult man now. So hope that you guys don't mind me going on that very weird tangent, but I think the point of it is I'm currently looking to conquer that fear and just kind of put that trauma to bed from being a child. Nate, can you talk about something very happy?
I could listen to you talk about like true crime forever. You should start one of those podcasts.
My wife has threatened that she wants to. Mallory has said often, she's like, I wish that her and her best friend, she's like, I want to do a podcast. I'm like, I've got all the equipment. Just do it. We'll see.
My mom, when I told her that we were starting a podcast, was like, can me and my friends use your equipment? And I said no. Because her friends...
What?
What do they want to podcast about?
Yeah, what do they want to podcast about?
We have some space to Prospects Live.
Yeah.
We have some space to Prospects Live.
Yeah,
Listen,
Mom Pod.
Mama Rasmussen, you are allowed to use my equipment whenever. I've got microphones. I have an extra microphone. I might just pack it up with you, Nate, and send it to her. Either way, yes, if she's interested in true crime, if that's something, you'll have to let her hear this part of the podcast because, yeah, Resendez Ramirez, and to learn it wasn't his name, that it was just an alias. It had the triple R alliteration and everything. It's burned in my brain, guys. Anyway, enough of that. Nate, talk about something happy.
I want to get a dog.
Yes.
And
yeah,
I don't know, man. A lot of moving parts in my life right now. Probably not a great time to get a dog. In my notes app, I have an idea of what kind of dog I want to get. It's going to take me about 10 minutes to find because my notes app... Okay, here we go. A Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever. If you wouldn't mind looking that up.
Yeah.
I think it's a
One
very
more
pretty
time?
dog. A Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever.
They're precious. Get 2.
I think that is my kind of dog. I need an adventure buddy. I've been single for a long time, guys. I kind of just need a friend at this point. That sounded sad. I have plenty of friends. Don't get me wrong.
I just went into a huge trauma dump from childhood. You being like, I need an adventure buddy is fine. I promise you're good.
I'm complaining about a guy with a do-rag bullying me at the gym, so I think we're okay.
This segment is about healing. These dogs look incredible. Every picture they look so friendly and down for whatever. Like several of these. Oh my gosh, this one's like he's like stretched out Superman jumping.
Very photogenic dogs.
And they don't dog.
And they're not that big.
I like a medium-sized dog that can still do outdoor activities / is up for 10 miles, like that kind of stuff. So here's my only problem is since I'm 22, I kind of live in an apartment still. I don't think I could do that to a dog. Or at least I would need to like have a little more space or something like that. So I think once I get like my first big boy full-time job, which probably will be in the next year or two, is then when I make the move and get the dog.
I think what is the temperament of the dog? Because you could take dog. It depends. Also depends on if the landlord allows you to have dogs too. These are very beautiful dogs.
I had the temperament somewhere. I have like a whole Google Doc of dog stuff because I went down a rabbit hole one night. I am technically allergic to dogs.
Oh, whatever. That's great.
Whatever. I can fight that. I can, what's it called? Like exposure therapy or whatever.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I had an ex-girlfriend who had 2 cats, and it was not fun.
I think that they're just...
Were you allergic to the girl or to the cats?
Well, I wish I was allergic to the girl, but the 2 cats were fine.
I was expecting for you guys to be like, well, hold on, like, can you really support this dog or whatever? But you guys are actually giving me all the fuel I need. So now,
Nate, a dog is going to teach you how to grow up.
First, you get your mama podcast. You get that thing monetized.
Yep,
and then
absolutely.
Then you guys can get a house with the monetization, and obviously, she's gonna make it big. Shout out Mama Rasmussen, and then you can get as many of these dogs as you want.
Yeah, and I think dog is a maturing step. Drew,
it is
caring for something else. I've never really had to do that.
This is something.
Have I ever told you guys what I did to my parents? At 18, I filled out an application for a dog that I didn't think we were going to get. Right? I didn't tell my parents. I just freshly turned 18. I must have been 18 for like 2 days. We get the dog. My mom is pissed. She calls me and makes me come home from school to take care of this dog that she, quote, doesn't want. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But yeah, that was my family's first dog because I grew up actually deathly afraid of dogs because I watched a dog bite my youngest brother pretty badly. So,
what sort of dog bit your brother?
A German Shepherd, but he wasn't like trained very well. Like you have to train those dogs really, really well.
Yes,
and like
yes.
this guy did not do a very good job. I think they're beautiful dogs when trained right. They're absolutely fantastic dogs. This guy just said, I'm in the military. I have a German Shepherd. And it's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, you need a hobby, not a dog, friendo.
Yeah.
I had a dog once for approximately 2 weeks.
What happened?
I lost it in the divorce.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah. It was a Chihuahua, though, and I didn't want it. And the girl just came home with the dog one day. And not home. We weren't living together. I was 18.
But
she
still,
got a dog when she was 18.
She produces a dog, and you're like,
yes,
what?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have 4 years of college to get through. Like, there's no dog. Yeah. So that's a weird story. So I suppose I have had a dog before for 2 weeks.
Wild
story.
Look, I have to kind of circle back to something here. You are very young, Nate. I love that about you. You make me feel young. Just being your friend makes me feel very young. I love that about you. But I do think that if something like you said, you're looking to kind of find this step and find this friend, a dog sees you at your most vulnerable. You will never have a connection like you will with a dog that you take care of, my buddy. And I'm telling you, this is an investment in your soul that you can make right here.
We're also thinking about dogs. We're also thinking about dogs, me and my girlfriend.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Do you have a certain breed? Because I'm down to look at more pictures of dogs.
No, I'm a shelter guy. I think that there's a lot of dogs who. I think there's a lot, and I'm not nothing against people who want to get dogs from a breeder. I just think there's a lot of dogs who don't get a chance.
Absolutely.
And I don't feel like crying. The Arms of an Angel is going to start playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell another quick story. And I can't cry, so I refuse to cry. If I cry, cut this name.
I've never cried before. I'm just joking. I cry all the time.
I've actually never cried. Last fall, one of my 2 dogs, Gretchen, passed away really unexpectedly. And the day that we sort of realized she was not doing well, Rhys and I actually podcasted together. And I didn't podcast from my office. I podcasted from the living room because I wanted Gretchen to be able to lay with me and I could watch her at all times while we did our very favorite podcast, Rhys, our DSL preview that we like to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Rhys, I think, was maybe the 4th or 5th person that I told Gretchen had passed away when she did, because Rhys was so kind about Gretchen being there and having to change and delay. And anyway, I say that a dog changes you because in the last year, Nate, I've seen so many different videos and things about people talking about how, your friend dies and that affects you. Your family member dies and it breaks you. It hurts so bad. Your dog, who, what's the phrase? They are around for a portion of your life, but you are their entire life.
Are there
their whole
That's
life.
What I was going to say.
And again, they see you at your most vulnerable. When you ache and hurt and are alone, they're there. When you are thrilled and happy and on top of the world, they're there. In the middle of the night, when there is nothing but you and the existential dread of, is this what it is? They're there, and they love you so much. They love you with a love that I genuinely think we will not see in this physical lifetime. And I can't advocate enough for you getting a dog. And on that note, Rhys, thank you again for being so kind and sweet with Gretchen, because I'll never forget your kind messages about that.
I lost my dog, basically my childhood dog, right around the same-ish time, and it takes a lot out of you. I had to make you have to make I promise you, you have to making the decision, to do what I did, put the dog down. Hardest decision I've ever had to make, but I didn't want him to suffer anymore. But that dog, see me through everything. And I love that dog more than anything. I don't think I'll ever love a dog as much. I love my parents' current dog a lot. She's a little crazy, but I don't think I'll ever love a dog as much as especially your first dog that you get on your own. That's the first one that's like your baby. And
shout out your dog. Let's say his name, her name.
Princeton. Or the current one. My parents' current dog is Winnie.
No, the dog that passed. We're trying to shout out Princeton. Shout out Gretchen. Maybe they're podcasting in heaven right now, because all dogs go there.
Actually,
what a sick podcast that would be.
Back in the day, Princeton was a small Shih Tzu pug mix, and I had this bed, and he would get stuck because he was fat, and he would cry to get out because he couldn't get out. He also barked on every podcast that I was on because he had to give his points out there too.
That's so great. It's funny you mentioned about adopting, though, Rhys, because since Gretchen's passed, people I'm going to say this is maybe a hot take, insensitively. They're like, oh, the best thing to do is just get another dog. I hate that.
Mm-mm.
No, it is not the best thing to do. You need to mourn your loss. But I will say, though, Rhys, since that, maybe 3 months ago, I'm just browsing the Book of Faces while I should be working at the newspaper office one day. And I stumble upon a local shelter who has a dog that is 5 years old. And his description was, this is the chillest dog in the world. He loves to sit around and watch TV And I'm like, hello? And then they say, his name is Bob. And I'm like, hello? Like, he has a person name and he's super chill? So I got home that night and I said to Mallory, I was like, we're not ready, but I think adoption is the next step. Because we've loved Barney and Gretchen from puppies, and some dogs will never get that opportunity. And I want to make their life as good as they'll make mine for the time we can spend together. So,
Did you get Bob?
I did not get Bob, but I know he's still at the. I'm not sure if he's still at the shelter. I'm going to look that up while you guys are wrapping up.
Yeah, Nate, I can't recommend a dog enough. I feel like it's an experience. It's training the dog. Training dogs not that hard. It's just about being consistent with your timing.
I think
you got to wake up every hour or so. Just take the dog out to the bathroom. Honestly, it's gonna sound weird. My uncle told my mom that all the boys need to pee in front of the dog outside in the backyard to show the dog this is where you pee.
That's actually a super good bit of advice, Nate.
But you live in an apartment, so that might get you in trouble.
Just let everybody know in advance what's going on.
I'm hoping to get out of an apartment as soon as possible, but it might be one more year. With that being said, I'm going to show my parents this because I feel like I still need their approval to get a dog in a sense. But actually, I can do what I want now. I'm an adult. Maybe I'll just get a dog. I don't know. I'm going to start the discussion this summer.
I think that showing them this portion of the podcast is not going to do anything but help your case.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that as well. And also, dog, great wingman.
Hard facts.
That might fix the single thing.
At my age, I mean, that's a huge one. So, yeah, I appreciate all the help.
Of course. Glad to help.
Just don't get a golden doodle. I don't like them.
My mom has golden doodles, and they are buck wild, man.
I don't get it.
Whenever they're chill, they're incredibly sweet. And I love swimming. When I'm at my mom's swimming, they will jump in and swim with me, which is very cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Well, I suppose that's going to do it for us fellas, huh? I think
Let's get that dog.
Yeah, right. I think it might be time to let the people know where to find you guys, just in case for some reason they aren't following you yet, and any departing words for our loyal listeners.
Yeah, you can follow me on the Twitter machine at drewisokay if you are a masochist like that. I have a Bluesky account. I need to post there more. Drew is okay as well. Please consider a membership to prospectslive.com. It's great. It's $5 a month, and you get all kinds of great content from people 10,000 times smarter than me, including both of these gentlemen who are with me today. And we'd love to have you as part of our crew and our friends at Prospects Live. And Bob is still at the shelter. I'll say that. So maybe Bob and I are just not quite at the right paths, but maybe they will intersect.
You can find me on Twitter at Rhys White. I have a Bluesky as well. I think I tweeted. I what do they call it? Skeet post, whatever they call it.
Skeet, I think. Yeah.
A skeet over there. That sounds wrong. But yeah, just find someone that looks relatively like me, and you'll be fine.
Last
I've
night
been
skeeting.
I've been skeeting.
Last night I told people to come find me on the streets in Seattle. That hasn't happened yet. Follow me on LinkedIn this time around. Let's switch it up. I'm
Next
open
week
to
is
work.
Facebook Marketplace.
I've
got stuff for sale.
Profiles. So LinkedIn, Nathan Rasmussen.
I'm about to go follow you on LinkedIn now. Hang on.
I need some connections, please.
I'm about to go follow you on LinkedIn right now. Hold on.
So yeah,
Hang
Prospects Live is my banner on LinkedIn, man.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
Love the squad. So thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of On Deck, and we will see you on Friday. Good night and God bless.
Light a fire and keep it strong.